As we did on Monday, we're playing musical chairs again because our featured guest at the piano is a young lady about whom I have a feeling this is going to be one of those remember you heard her here first moments. Her name is Heather Potter, and we were first introduced to her on this program in a different time slot some months ago when we were telling you about the Christmas Play-a-thon, a fundraiser that is done annually. I have seen and heard Heather Potter play at other events. I was very impressed with her talent, and then came to learn that on top of being an accomplished pianist, she can sing and is a composer as well. So during this hour, we are going to feature those various talents. So Heather, a pleasure to have you back with us today.
Thank you.
And for those who did not see you on the previous program, you are you're just 18 years old, are you not?
I'm 19, actually. Ooh, a whole year older.
Well, nonetheless, still a teenager, and you have been playing for how many years?
15 now.
Wow, you started when you were like four or five, yeah. 4 years old?
Just a neighbor gave me lessons, really.
Now, of course, you've gone beyond the neighbor. We can establish that. Now, having met your parents, David and Michelle, just before we went on the air, I understand that there really aren't musicians on either side of the family. So where do you suppose this came from, and how did the lessons begin at 4? Was there a piano in the home?
I believe we had an upright at the time, just to fill in space, probably at our home. But how did it start? I think my mom just knew that she gave lessons and, you know, keep a 4-year-old out of trouble. Why not?
Okay. And you took to it. Do you remember having an immediate love affair with it, or did it blossom later? Sometimes that's how it goes with kids.
You know, I don't remember so far back, but according to my mom, I think just someone noticed that I had a gift and that God had blessed me there. So I guess she just kept telling me to do it.
Well, as our viewers have already heard, yes, you do indeed have a gift. I would be curious to know, since both of my children, who are just slightly younger than you, play, how many hours a day do you devote to practice as a rule?
Just an hour.
Really?
Yes. Probably should more.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that someone can play at that level. Really, you average an hour a day?
8 hours a day.
Oh, she changed it. The story has changed now. Now it's 8 hours a day. Even Roger Williams only said he practiced 6 hours a day. 8 hours a day. Well, now we know who's going to surpass Roger Williams. Well, you know, but having said all that, though, there is a difference between quality and quantity. You know, if you're going to sit there for 3 hours and look at a magazine for a few minutes and get back to something, but you know, a quality hour can really do it.
Totally.
Because with my schedule, I don't have much more to play myself, but it's enough to maintain. My son and daughter both average an hour a day, and I don't know if you remember hearing them, but they're quite accomplished. My son's already a professional by the age of 13, so it can be done, kids, but you have to do it every day.
Yep.
And you probably do play every day.
Every day. Just spring break, I went out of town, and coming back, I had to start the hand-ins again, get my fingers warmed up, just from a week. So every day matters, definitely.
Yeah, I was told by a teacher that I had in Cleveland, Ohio. He said, if I don't play for a day, I know it, meaning he knew it. He said, if I don't play for 2 or 3 days, the audience will know it. It's amazing how little time away from the piano can be demonstrable. At any rate, now, so you started at 4 years old. You've been playing 15 years now. At what juncture did the composition begin, where you started writing your own songs?
12 or 13. I just played my first, now this was a piano solo only, and I went into a competition and I won first place with that, my own composition.
So you wrote an instrumental
just
piece.
Piano. Now the songs, my songs as in singing and playing piano, that started not too long ago. I'd say at the most a year ago.
And did you always sing, though? I mean, were you in groups in school, or how did you discover you could sing as well?
Good question.
I do this for a living, you know.
Ask good questions. I started singing lessons 2 years ago.
Ah.
But I don't know.
And what brought that on? Because I've been teaching voice for many, many years in this town. Now, what prompted you to seek out a singing teacher? Did you know that you wanted to sing your own music?
I had no idea. When I started singing lessons, I just thought, why not? It's good for your, music ability.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And vice versa, by the way. I remember going to one of my earlier voice teachers back in Cleveland, and he said, fine, but you also need more music lessons because the one helps the other, especially piano. Mm-hmm. It helps your ear, a sense of timing, and vice versa. And then the music, I think, lends itself to better phrasing on the piano. Mm-hmm. Well, all that said, you aspiring stars out there, when we come back, we're going to have Heather Potter share with us the first of at least 4 or 5 original compositions she's going to perform for us during this hour. The first one, I like the title of the first one. It's called Hope. Yes. And that will all take place when we come back. In the meantime, Heather, could you take us out to commercial with a little more of that Chopin? And by the way, we're going to have her play that entire etude in A-flat a little later in the program, if you would please. If you tuned in a little late, we're showcasing a young Las Vegas talent during this hour. Her name is Heather Potter. I actually discovered her abilities at some events at which my own children played, and I was very impressed, and little did I know, I was seeing the tip of the iceberg. I knew she was an accomplished pianist, but little did I know that she sang and composed as well. So we're going to share some of her original work with you, and I have a feeling this is going to be one of those remember you heard it here first moments, especially when she wins Star Search next year. Not Star Search, geez. American Idol, when she wins American Idol next year.
One of those shows.
That's right. When she wins that next year, you'll say, hey, didn't I see her? Yes, you did. You saw her right here on It's All Good. So, Heather, the first of your original compositions you're going to perform for us today is something called Hope. Well, I gotta love, on a show called It's All Good, you've got to love that title right out of the chute. So tell us how you came to write this and the story behind it.
Well, hope, as we all know, is something when you've been down in the dirt and someone or something brings you out of that, that's hope. And when I was writing this, my thoughts were, I went through a hard time, just maybe it was grades at the time, can't exactly remember what, but I just called on the Lord, and He was there for me, and my friends were there for me. All of a sudden, I just had all this hope, and so there the words were, and here you go.
Right. So you write words and music.
Yes.
Boy, there's only been a couple of memorable composers who have really done that, such as Irving Berlin and Cole Porter. That's impressive when you can do both. Well, at any rate, if you would be so kind, then let us hear Hope.
You took my heart and all its pieces. They were not cuts, but only creases. And when I started my believing, you helped me stop all of the bleeding. You asked for nothing in return, but told me this, that I should learn to take the hurt and take the pain and turn it all into gain. took me in and gave me rest, and said I was not second best. You took my life and gave me breath, and wished my hurt and pain to death. You asked for nothing in demand, but this that I should understand, to take the hurt and take the tears and turn them all into my fears. And all you did was show me that this did not have to be. And all you did was show me that this did not have to be. You gave me hope. You took my love and all its illness, and gave it life in all its fullness. You took me in just as I was, and took my problems just because. You asked for nothing, not at all, but this that I should never fall, to take the hurt and injury and never let it get to me. You gave me life, love, heart. You gave me life, love, heart. You gave me hope.
Bravo. Well, as the camera revealed, among Heather's gifts, well, you have very elegant fingers. You were born to play the piano, and a beautiful touch, especially for a young person. It's really, as someone who plays myself, I really appreciate that. Nice dynamics. It was very impressive. Do you happen to know if you have perfect pitch? Because your intonation was right on. It was. I only asked because your intonation was right on the money. Very,
Thank you.
very.
I was worried about that since I am sick today.
Well, no one would ever know, and you showed that you're a trooper by coming down nonetheless. That was lovely, and I'd like to talk more about that song and your process for writing, and we'll do that all when we come back. It's Heather Potter, kids. We're hearing original compositions, and boy, that's one of the things I want to ask you. If you couldn't record it yourself, in your mind's eye, anyone that you could hear, think about it during the break, anyone that you could hear doing that song who is out there today. And we'll be back with Heather Potter. And Heather, could you give us a little reprise of that as we go to commercial? Lovely. I'll give you an hour to stop this. Very nice. I don't know what it is, but she's got it. Whatever it is, she's got it. She's got nerves of steel.
I'm shaking all over.
Well, you may be, but it's not evident.
Lost it at the end.
It's not evident in your performance. This kid's got it. We're back with Heather Potter, composer here, Las Vegas, But you are going to be going off to college soon. And where are you going?
I am going to the Master's College. It's also where my sister went, just kind of carrying along the heritage.
Now, can you continue any of your musical studies there?
Most definitely. There are a lot of great teachers there. I've been there several times. Wasn't there too long ago for an audition for piano.
And are you excited to be going on?
I'm psyched.
Well,
I'm so ready for college.
and when do you begin that? In
August.
In
August.
August.
When it starts, yeah.
Okay. Well, that means we could have you back perhaps before you leave, because I'm sure you'll have some other compositions to share for us. Now, getting back to the one that you just performed, I asked you just before the break if you could not record these things yourself, and you should, of course. But if you couldn't, is there anyone out there now that you could envision doing the song you just did? If you could hand it over to them and they said, well, Heather, we're going to give you a six-figure sum for the rights to record this song, who would it be?
Gosh, I don't know if I could do that because all of my songs are from my heart, but if I had to...
Okay, fair enough. Then maybe the answer is
me.
no.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, then the answer is no.
Yeah, I guess
Listen, I'm sure you're aware of the classic story of Sylvester Stallone when he wrote Rocky. And they had Burt Reynolds in mind. They had 2 or 3 different other actors in mind for the lead. And they offered him, and he, by the way, he was living on, like dog food at the time. And he said they offered him $350,000, and this was 30 years ago for that script. Now, to a guy who was starving, $350,000 was a fortune, especially then. And he said, no, that's my baby, and I'll star in it, or it won't get made.
I know how it feels.
Okay, then that's the answer to the question. You're not giving these to anyone.
It's my baby.
You're not giving them to anyone. Well, let's talk about the next song we're going to hear then. This one is called Love. Okay. And
otherwise known as Love Song, either or.
And what was the inspiration for this?
Definitely not a boyfriend.
Okay.
Don't have one right now.
All right.
I think when I sat down and thought about this, I just took a topic and I just kind of pulled it out of the sky and I was like, hey, love, Because I was realizing my pattern of songs were beginning to be kind of, not depressing, but kind of on the, mopey side, I guess.
Well, you're a teenager. These are the mopey years.
These are the mopey
You'll get out of them, trust me.
There's hope.
There is, indeed. I always ask this of composers because I'm always fascinated by the process, because even though I have been playing forever, I am not a writer. This stuff just does not come to me. So when I meet people like yourself, I'm in awe of this ability. Does one come to you before the other? Do the words come to you first and you put music to it, or the other way around?
Most likely not. I think I just fiddle around on the piano and I'm like, hey, that's fun, I'll stick with that. And
so a melody strikes you first?
Yes.
And then you put words to it?
And then I put words to it. And I don't know how I come out with the melody for the words. It just comes.
Very good. Well, and that said, let us hear, if we may, a love song.
I stood there, breathless. You stood there, speechless. We both knew, doubtless, love was singing for us. Love was singing for us. The time slows down, my heart stops. The wind picks up and the rain drops. I look at you, my heart pounds. Is this how love sounds? You walked up right to me. This love was not hard to see. To hear it was heavenly. Love was singing on key. Love was singing on key. The time speeds up, your heart stops. The stars shine down and the sky drops. You look at me, your heart pounds. Is this how love sounds? Can you hear it? Love is music. Can you hear it? Love is music. We had to be crazy, but love has a melody. We knew this was not wrong. Love was singing our song. Love was singing our song. Love was singing our song.
Wow. They're applauding in the control room. Can you hear them?
I didn't.
As well they should. Heather, it is humbling to be in your presence.
Okay.
That was really something. And it's hard for me to believe someone, now, you wrote this song within the last year or two?
Couple weeks ago.
Hard for me to believe someone as young as you could have written lyrics as insightful and poetic as that. You had no help with that.
No.
That's amazing. That's really, really good. And I'll tell you.
Correction, I did have help. It's God. 'Cause
Well, we all
I don't have a boyfriend.
Hopefully,
so.
we all have that help. Okay, Heather, we've got to break away. We'll be back more with Heather Potter. There's a little more of that. I love the hook on that.
Cool.
We'll be right back with Heather Potter. We're good. Wow. That's as impressive as can be. Unless I miss my guess, this is indeed one of those Remember You Heard It Her First moments as we are discovering the compositions of Heather Potter, a Las Vegan. Just turned 19. When did you turn 19? Must have been recent because you were 18 when you were on the show with me, but around Christmas time. So your birthday is in February?
February, yes.
What date? I'd be curious.
February 1st.
Because I'm going to run your, my guest next week is going to be the famous astrologer Cattell.
Oh,
so I'm going to run your birth date and year by her to see what the stars may have in store for you. I don't know. Unless I miss my guess, though, this is going to be your career, to be sure. Getting back to your singing, something as a teacher that really set me on fire was, I said, you know, something's throwing me off about this performance. Oh, I know what it is. I understood every word. I like the fact that you elocute and have that diction, because especially when you're a writer, that's why so many lyricists adored Frank Sinatra, because when you take the time to write the words, you would like the listening audience to actually know what they are. And with Frank, there was never any doubt, and I like the fact that here I was hearing songs for the first time, and I feel like I heard every word.
Awesome.
And
I have been working on that.
And continue the work, because
awesome.
That's something that has been sorely neglected in today's music. It's like, what did they say? And it's gotten worse and worse over the years. So I hope that vocal diction will make a comeback, especially with lyrics as inspired as those. As I was saying during the break, I love that line, "Is this what love sounds like?" I just don't know how a teenager can come up with. I'm just learning to tie my shoes at 19, and she's writing lines like that.
Right,
I can't get over that. Well, tell us about the next song that we're going to hear, because it has an eyebrow-raising title, Phobia.
Yes.
Now, I have a fear of heights. What inspired this song called Phobia?
Well, this isn't a fear of heights, but...
I mean, I had to lower the stool. That's how. But,
oh, geez. This one's just about, I had just broken up with a boyfriend, and it was a really hard time because I felt pretty hard for him, and it was the first time I've ever, felt pretty hard for someone. So, and, the title just kind of fit. It wasn't exactly, there's no phobia word in here, so just kind of put in there. It was a random word that I liked, so that was the title.
Well, when you're a big star, he'll be doubly sorry. How's that? At any rate, so that was the impetus for this particular song?
Yes.
All right, and it's called Phobia. Well, I think the story will unfold as we hear it, if you would please, Heather.
It's too bad that it didn't work out, but it was for the better, without a doubt, and it's so sad that you didn't figure it out, that you're gonna miss me, but don't sit and pout, It's been so long since I've thought of you, and I know it's better if I not do. It's been so great living life so true, and I never got that, not with you. It's good that I died while it did, and I haven't cried, not one bit. It's too bad that I gave you so much, but I know it's better if we don't keep in touch. It's been so long since I've been your crutch, and I was your meat, and you treated me as such. It's good that it ended before too long. Even though I bended, I knew I was wrong. And I'm gone, I'm so gone. Goodbye so long. And it's too bad, it's just so sad that it was just a lie. But now I have to say, and it's too bad, it's just so sad that it was just a lie. But now I have to say goodbye so long, and now I'm gone. But now I have to say, I wish it was another day. But now I have to say, I wish it was another way.
I can't get over how involving your lyrics are. I knew that you had a lovely voice and that you could play, but the lyrics were the surprise for me. I'd like to pick up there when we come back. Heather, if you would take us out. We'll be back with Heather Potter. Please stay with us. Great. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this hour as much as I am. It's always, well, there's few things more exciting than discovering fresh, new, genuine talent, and that's what we have in this hour. A young lady from Las Vegas. Her name is Heather Potter. She's just 19 years old, and she is quite an accomplished pianist, singer, and songwriter, as we have been hearing. And as I was saying, I just can't get over how involving your lyrics are. That's the last thing I expected from you. I had high hopes, but it was the last thing I expected, that they would be as involving and good as they are. And what you don't know, and I didn't want to tell you before we went on the air because I didn't want to make you doubly nervous, but I have asked a couple of my friends in the record business to tune in today to hear you perform. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if you would be hearing from them. And I also asked you during the break, of course, she's a little young to know this, but a prior guest on my show that many of my viewers may know is Paul Williams. He recently appeared at the Suncoast Hotel. He's, of course, the Academy Award-winning composer of such songs as Evergreen with Barbra Streisand, The Rainbow Connection from Sesame Street, many of the Carpenter hits, Rainy Days and Mondays, and we can go on and on. Paul Williams and I have become friends, and I'd like to send him some demos of some of this material, and maybe he's now very big in ASCAP, the American Society of Composers and Artists. Yeah, he's very big in ASCAP, and I'd like to see if maybe he could be helpful in getting your career launched, because you're ready, kid.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. I just don't know where these lyrics, because I try to tell my singing students, think of a song as acting set to music. That's for me, the artistic, the technical definition is singing should be extended speech. It should be clear. And the artistic definition is it's acting set to music. And consider each song a little 3-minute play, if you would. Well, your songs really are these 3-minute plays.
If not more.
There really is a rhyme and reason to these. I'm just very impressed. That said, tell us about the next song we're going to hear, Friends.
Friends, yes.
You dedicated this to your best friend.
My best friend, Gina, who's not with me right now, but she's with me in spirit. So she lives in San Diego. Not too long away, but we know how gas prices are now.
Well,
so
we can send her a tape of this.
We'll send her a tape.
Very good.
And wrote this for her because she's been there for me every time, good and bad.
Well, that said, Gina, this is for you, Friends.
The tears we shared, the trials we shared, all that we went through, the laughs we had and the smiles we had, all we had to do. And if you need a laugh, a giggle or two, I'll be here for you, I'll be here for you. And if you need a hug, a tissue or two, I'll be there for you, I'll be there for you. The cuts we healed, the wounds that we healed, all we healed times two. The dreams we sought and the lives that we sought, all we thought we knew. And if you need a laugh, a giggle or two, I'll be here for you. I'll be here for you. And if you need a hug, a tissue or two, I'll be there. I'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are for. Yes, that's what we're here for. And if you need a friend, someone to be next to, I'll be here, I'll be there for you.
It's called Friends, written and, as you could see, performed by Heather Potter. Heather, do you see yourself in the years ahead as a recording artist? I do.
I have absolutely no expectations of this. I feel that's the best thing right now because, you know, expectations kind of lead to downfalls sometimes. But at the same time, they can...
let's not have that negative thinking now. You have to envision it
I mean, yes,
to make it
myself
happen.
as a star.
Would you consider, when they do it next season, would you consider auditioning for American Idol? And I'm curious to know why you didn't try when they came to Las Vegas this last time. You're of age.
Didn't know they came to Vegas.
Uh-huh. Would you
if I had
think
known,
you're perfect for them.
I might have. Well, the only thing is you can't exactly cart a piano in there, and that's
well,
what
but you don't have to. Have you?
Piano.
Well, this is true. But have you done any stand-up, or do you always sing only at the piano?
The majority, yes. There's been
you can make
never
the
done
transition,
acapella.
though. I mean, you could to singing stand-up. You know, Buddy Greco started out as just playing the piano and singing, but he became so accomplished at it, he eventually had to become a stand-up singer as well, as did Nat King Cole and other luminaries. I think you could make the transition, but
with practice.
I'm going to strongly urge you next season to get on the internet and find out the scheduling and where they're going to be. But I think you have the qualities that they're looking for.
Sounds good.
Well, we'll see what Mom and Dad thinks after the show, but I think that you would be the ticket. At any rate, when we come back, we're going to have Heather Potter perform not one of her compositions, but another composer you may have heard of, that Chopin person. Perhaps you've heard of him. At any rate, when we come back. Heather, if you would be so kind. Down to our remaining minutes in what I will henceforth call A Star is Born, right here on the It's All Good show. Heather Potter, a young Las Vegan who has I think, a very, very bright future in music. And this is kind of a dessert for our viewers, Heather, because we're going to have you for your final piece play the Etude in A-flat major by Chopin. And then we'll have a couple of more minutes to talk with you before we give way to my dear friend Madison at 1 o'clock on this station.
Sounds good.
Just beautiful. Wow. Heather Potter, boys and girls, this is what you want to aspire to. Ask your mom and dad for piano. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention, what are the names of your teachers, piano and voice? They deserve some credit here.
Yes, oh, I've had my piano teacher for 10 years out of the 15, and we're very close. Her name's Mally Ricken. Best teacher I could ever ask for.
Say that again?
Mally Ricken.
Mally Ricken is your
Yes,
piano
my
teacher.
piano teacher.
And who has been teaching you voice the past couple of years?
Reggie Summers.
Okay, well, kudos to both of those teachers. As someone who teaches myself, I think we ought to share the credit because they're molding our stars of tomorrow, and that certainly describes Heather Potter. Heather, as I said, I had some friends of mine in the record business tune in today. I wouldn't be surprised if you were hearing from them. And
I'd be surprised.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, I think this is going to be the launching pad. I hope that the tape of this show that you will be able to use to advance your career, because this has really been a very special hour. I hope that the viewers enjoyed this as much as I did, because it was magic time. You really have something special. Folks, I hope you will tune in tomorrow when my guest is going to be, among others, Dr. Fuller Royal, to answer your health questions. And we will also talk with a candidate for the soon-to-be vacant Council Ward 6 seat. 11 people running. We'll find out what this candidate would do if she were sitting in that seat. That said, Heather, could you please take us out? And thank you so much again.
You're
and
welcome.
Thanks to your parents for bringing you down here today.